Vulnerability is sexy. Hello everyone, I'm Sarah from Everyday Starlet. Welcome to my channel. I make videos to inspire you to be the star of your own life. There's a big misconception about feminine energy, that being feminine is weak or that vulnerability is weak. And I want to break that misconception. So if you think about it, if you are fighting somebody and you put up a shield, like you put up a wall, you put up some kind of a battle shield, which may be the smart thing to do in that moment, is that braver than putting down your shield and actually exposing yourself and letting yourself be seen? One thing might be a smarter move to do in that very moment, but actually putting your shield down, putting your guard down, and leaving yourself exposed takes a huge amount of courage and strength. So being vulnerable is essentially the emotional equivalent of that. Being vulnerable is essentially taking down your shield, taking down your wall, and saying, this is me, letting yourself be seen in your physical body, and letting yourself be seen in your emotions, letting your full self be seen. That takes a huge amount of strength and courage. It's the reason why most people don't do it. I mean, if it was weak, we probably all would be doing it, and we all know we're not, because most of us are walking around with shields and walls up. So showing your feminine emotions and your vulnerability is not weak at all. It's actually great for two reasons. One, it's great for you. If you're a natural feminine cord being, one of your deepest needs, whether you admit it or not, is to be fully seen. The feminine wants to be fully seen, and that's actually very often why as women, we, show off all the time, why we show our bodies, we show our surface selves, which can very often be another version of a wall. It's like, hey, look at my physical body, but you're not letting people see inside you. That's very common. So you get like surface level attention, which can sometimes temporarily satisfy the feminine. I see that kind of surface level attention as like getting like a real sugar high, and then you get that crash. It's just like, oh my god, I got all this male attention because I showed off my body. And I'm not shaming women who do this. Like, I was an Instagram lingerie model for a while, so I'm not shaming anybody for doing this, but that superficial attention that you get from men can feel really good in the moment, but eventually it's gonna crash because you're gonna realize that you're not getting your soul needs met, because men really aren't seeing you for you, they're just seeing the surface. And hey, look, being appreciated for your surface beauty can be great. Like, I'm not knocking that. It's just not gonna fully satisfy you. So that deep need to be seen can only happen if you are willing to let your guard down and show your emotions, show your vulnerability, show who you truly are, and allow that part of you to come through. Second reason why it's important is because it is incredibly, incredibly attractive to the masculine. A true, healthy, masculine man is going to be so attracted to feminine softness and vulnerability, because it's the opposite of what he is. The masculine tends to be strong, structured, determined. The idea of being soft or the idea of being vulnerable is not something that comes naturally to a masculine cord being. It's something that he has to work through. Many masculine men can tap into that part of themselves, but it's not as natural a part of themselves as a feminine being. So it's those things that make the feminine different than the masculine that turns him on sexually. It's sexual polarity. If a truly masculine being is choosing a partner, he's going to choose a partner not who can do everything as well as he can. He's going to choose a partner who can do the things that he's not as good at doing. So if he's not good at tapping into his emotions, if he's not good at sinking into his body, if he's not good with vulnerability, with softness, he's going to be attracted to a woman who can tap into that part within herself, because he's going to find that sexy, because it's not a part of him that he already possesses. In the same way, for most feminine women, that energy of being a strong protector from a man, like, that's going to feel sexy, because it's not something that as women, I mean, we can tap into that in the same way that men can tap into their vulnerability, but it's not as natural an instinct for us. So we are sexually polarized to a partner who possesses the things that we're not naturally as strong in. And I will tell you, times that I have shown film clips of women in films actually letting their guard down and showing their vulnerability, you would be amazed at how many men will reach out to me either in messages or in comments that will be like, yes, that is so sexy in a woman. I think oftentimes as women we feel like, well, a man wants us to look like we have it all together and like we have our act together and we know how to do everything, but it's those moments, like even when we're crying, like a woman crying from an open heart to a masculine being is going to make him want to hold and protect her. The key is knowing when it's safe to let your guard down and with who. Obviously, if a man is just somebody that you've just met and you don't know him and you don't know anything about him and he hasn't actually shown any signs that he's trustable, just completely letting your guard down and being like, hey, this is me, raw and naked in my emotions, probably not the smartest thing to do. That's not actually respectful to yourself. But tapping into that intuition and feeling into whether a man is trustable and how much of yourself you can show him and how much of yourself is safe to let your guard down with a man. And honestly, for most of us women who have had guards up and had walls up because we've dealt with men who weren't safe, and maybe we let our guard down around men who weren't safe and we got taken advantage of, we got hurt in some situations, it can be scary to do. And that's why it's important for us to tap into our feminine intuition so that we know when a man is trustable and when it's safe. And we don't need to just expose ourselves right away. I would actually encourage you not to just expose yourself to random men wherever you go. Feeling into, okay, maybe I'll let myself be a little bit more vulnerable in this moment, and seeing how he responds, seeing how he reacts, and then being a little bit more vulnerable in the next moment. And when you feel like, ooh, this isn't safe, it's not trustable, he's not showing me that I can trust this man, then reading into that, paying attention to that, that's really important. So tapping into your feminine emotions, your feminine vulnerability is actually beneficial to everyone. It's actually great for communicating to men in your feminine energy. And I actually have a new masterclass teaching you how to communicate from your feminine energy. If you're interested, details are in the description box below. And I also have an online class called Feminine Radiance, which delves into a lot when it comes to feminine energy, and it will help you to tap into your intuition as well. So be sure you check those out in the description box. If you have any thoughts on feminine vulnerability or any other topics you would like me to discuss, let me know. Leave a comment in the comment section below. I love to hear from you and I love your suggestions. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please give it a big thumbs up and be sure you subscribe to my channel. You can also follow me on all my social media accounts. The links are in the description box below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you join me next time.